What's up, guys? Welcome back. Yesterday I worked on basically the rear of the car harness. I went through and thinned out. I'm still waiting on the wiring diagrams, but for the most part I kind of knew what I did and didn't need. Just kind of cut out the connectors I knew I didn't need and then pulled the wires out. This is what I have. Of course, those are your body control module plugs. Basically there's one or two wires that connect plug to plug, and I got to verify what those are, so I left them. Then this comes over here. That's what runs to the center console, which is it's the security key fob, the brake switch, and then for the lights in the cup holder. And again, I really don't even need those. So, because with a security deleted PCM, the transponder is not going to matter. That's the ground for that. I really don't know what this wire is yet. I need the wiring diagrams, and then of course the fuel pump harness. So realistically, for the rear of the car, all I would technically need is this fuel pump harness section. Some of that I was just trying to keep, to have like the cup holder lights and get like the e-brake light off. So you have the body control module B, which controls, a lot of the lighting circuit and all that. And I figured, honestly, for simplicity, it'd be easier just to run the lighting circuit off of its own relay and still just use like the factory switch or even the factory body control module pin to activate the relay. But instead of, having that body control module, then body control module B, trying to control, I figured it'd be easier, like I said, just to do one relay. So I believe today what I'm going to do is go ahead and pull the front of the front fuse box harness and all out. I'm going to leave all the plugs under the dash, but then I could go ahead and pull some of these lighting plugs out, as well as the ABS and stuff like that, and just get this thing thinned down, and I think it'll fit the chassis a lot better. So that's what I'm working on today. Alright, so this is the front fuse box. I pretty much left that side alone because it does just run to the body control module. And I'm sure there'll be one or two things I don't necessarily need, but there's also nothing kind of hanging out in the way. And of course this is like the engine room side that runs along the core support. And what I did is I didn't take the fuse box apart. The wires I didn't need, I just cut back and heat shrinked them with marine grade heat shrink, and they're wrapped up in here. And then of course it makes this harness a lot thinner. I don't think I necessarily need that, which is just like a temp sensor, I believe. I also don't think I need that plug, but I don't have the wiring diagram, so I just left them for now. There's the mass airflow, and then this is like your brake pedal switch, the clutch pedal, and then the accelerator pedal. So, and then there's two body harness plugs there, but realistically there's only like the fuel pump that runs through that, which, I mean, of course you do need those. And I haven't taken anything out of the dash. I don't really plan to at the moment, mainly because as long as I can get it to crank and everything, then I'll use the body control module. But if I'm having some issues with the body control module, then I may just build my own relay harness. But I could also just order another body control module, so I hadn't really decided on that yet. Realistically, I'm just hoping with a security deleted computer, I can kind of hook everything up and it'll crank. So yeah, I'm about to get this harness put back in here and kind of laid out, and I'll worry about looming it later. Okay, so this is how I'm more or less just putting nut inserts in there to mount the fuse box, which is in pretty much close to the OEM location of AS550. For now, I just have the PCM sitting here, which this is not the PCM I'm going to be using, so it still travels that way. Deleted all these wires, still have the main grounds, and it actually will run right along inside of here, down through there. And of course I deleted the ABS plug, that kind of thing. Goes into that factory location. Then of course, I got to loom all this up, but so with the clutch pedal pressed, it actually activates the fuel pump, even though the key's not on. But then you turn the key on, it starts flashing, so it's not going to crank. But, and then there's the cluster. So this is pretty much the bare minimum I'd say you'd need. Let's see. So obviously I was having some issues with the other computer because now, as you can see, it is displaying the mileage, which tells me it's not getting invalid data. It still won't turn over with the start button, so I'm kind of wondering if I'm having an issue in my BCM. But now when I jump the start relay, it runs. So it does prime the fuel pump. I just don't know if it's running 100%, which is probably why, it runs for a second and dies. So now what I'm thinking is, worst case, I kind of know what I got here will run it. So if I'm not exactly, if the fuel pump's not, running like it should, I can always just run it off of not a switch, but of a, like a 12-volt source, something like that. And kind of the same deal with the starter. Really, I just need to figure out what wires go kind of where my signal comes off of the start button there, and figure out maybe why it's not activating this relay. Worst case, I just run a separate relay. So yeah, that definitely makes me feel a lot better because I have heard it run in the chassis now. Now it's just kind of figuring out kind of some of the small stuff. All right, so this fuel pump's a bit loud, but that's fine. I just got it kind of wired straight to the battery just for now. So, as long as the fuel pump's jumped, when you jump the starter, it'll crank just fine. I got no more flashing light here. It still won't crank with this, but it's also not registering the fact that the clutch pedal's being pressed. So, but yeah. And then that cuts it off like it should. More or less, it's this has a weird clutch rod position sensor up here, which apparently from my research is what relays the info back to the PCM. So like kind of jumping the standard switch out doesn't really do anything. And it's got a voltage reference, sig return, and then it's got a 2 position sensors in that one switch. And I really can't even find another one of those online. So what I'm thinking about doing for now is just to kind of, at the end of the day, when I jump the fuel pump and I jump the starter relay, it runs like it should. So I believe what I'm going to do is just use the OEM start button to trigger a new relay for the starter. Okay, so I have the, basically the OEM fuel pump relay is controlling. I just use the power wire that powers the fuel pump control module, and more or less I'm picking up off that because I have powered the fuel pump control module, and I'm using it to run the pump. So key on, pump runs. The only thing is right now the start signal goes through the radio here. So let's see, all I need to do is basically give it the signal. Got a little bit of a vacuum leak. And 2, the tune may not be updated for this cold air because they did send me a different computer, but